guys with another video. We're not in the garage this time though. We're actually in our finished project truck that we just wrapped up, and we're actually headed to down to the Woodward Dream Cruise right now. Now I actually got the truck finished on Wednesday, which was 3 days ago. Basically, I got the truck finished on the weekend, but I had to get the exhaust finished, or the exhaust done for that matter, so I had to wait till Wednesday to get that taken care of. So I got that taken care of Wednesday morning, and ever since then I've just been kind of, you know, driving it around, giving it the shakedown, making sure everything's good to go with it, and so far everything's been great with it. I mean, knock on wood, I haven't had any major hiccups or anything like that. It's literally just hop in, turn the key, put it in gear, and go. Which I couldn't be happier. You know, I've seen a lot of other people's, you know, LS swap videos, and it seems like the moment they get theirs running, you know, it just seems to not run very well, to put it nicely. But I don't know. Like I said, my engine and transmission came from a donor vehicle. I had the matching computer and the harness and everything that came with it. So, and it's a bone stock, like, factory motor. You know, I didn't put a cam in it or anything like that. So, you know, really, as far as tuning goes, there really didn't have to be too much done. We didn't have to remake a whole new, you know, fuel table or anything like that, or adjust any timing or anything like that. We more or less just had to delete the VATs and adjust a couple of perimeters and turn off a couple of, you know, secondary warning features, and you know, adjust for the gear ratio and stuff like that. But other than that, man, it's been a pleasure to drive so far. I mean, I get it now. I understand why people do these LS swaps, because just I can tell you, I mean, I haven't even really had the chance to beat on this truck yet. Since I've turnkey and got it like running and driving under its own power, I made sure that I reset the trip before I, you know, ever drove it. So as of now, I have exactly 61 miles on this swap. So I've driven this truck exactly 61 miles so far. And I gotta tell you, like, if I were to line this truck up the way it is now with my old C10, this thing would have mopped the floor with my C10. It would have whooped its ass. Like, this thing has so much better throttle response. It's quicker off the line, and just, you know, it just seems to run so much better. I hope this video quality isn't too shaky. I got you guys kind of propped up on like a little ghetto fabulous GPS mount that I kind of rigged for my phone to hold. But anyway, like, back to what I was saying, like, just the drivability and just the throttle response that this LS engine, the LS engine has over just your traditional, I don't know, maybe not your traditional, but my old school carbureted C10. You know, I had to start the C10 and I had to let it warm up, you know, for a good 2-3 minutes before I could even, you know, pull it out of the driveway. Otherwise, you know, you try to pull out on a busy road and give it some gas and get in traffic, it would just, you know, more or less just fall right on its face and just be like, bleh, you know. So this thing, on the other hand, you hit the key and you can mash on it. It just does what it's supposed to do. So, and there's just so many other advantages, like having the 4L60E. I know it's not like the most, you know, bulletproof transmission in the world as far as like the hot rodding stuff goes, but so far I've experienced no issues with it. And just having overdrive and the torque converter lockout has just been, oh my god, it's been a godsend. Like I said, my C10, you know, 3-speed turbo hydromatic 400. This thing's got a 4-speed 4L60E with, you know, overdrive and stuff. And I gotta tell you, this thing, you know, we're doing 60 miles an hour, and it's like hovering right around 1200 RPMs. Granted, my tack is a little bit off, but I can just tell that this engine isn't even working hard to get me down the road. So, yeah, so many pluses so far. But yeah. Anyways, I just more or less wanted to check in, let you guys know what I was up to. Like I said, we're going down to the Woodward Dream Cruise right now. This isn't the actual day of the Dream Cruise. They actually have the actual Dream Cruise tomorrow on a Saturday. This is Friday evening. I prefer to come down here like on a Friday, late afternoon, early evening, because that's when, you know, the cars are actually cruising. That's when there's people out there hooning, you know, racing, doing dumb shit. There's not a whole, you know, there's not 10 million cops everywhere. There's not a bunch of, you know, blockades and displays and all kinds of, you know, there's far less crowds of people. So anyway, as far as like the cruising aspect goes, I like going down to the Dream Cruise pretty much all the week before, pretty much. Like, you can go down on a Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and have, you know, see tons of cars, because a lot of people, Woodward Dream Cruise is actually like one of the biggest car cruises in the world, supposedly, and people come from like other countries and fly their cars in from other countries just to get in a big traffic jam on Woodward. It's kind of insane to think about, but it's true. You know, you'll see license plates from all over the United States down on the Dream Cruise, and you know, see people from all over. Plus, you got the events like Roadkill Nights and all that commercialized stuff popping off, which, you know, only attracts more traffic and fans, which is cool, I guess. But yeah, we're just out here riding. And like I said, right now I'm doing 60 miles an hour, and this thing is just purring like a kitten, so just doing good. I didn't know what to expect. There was a good bit of time in this swap when I was really hesitant. You know, when I first got this truck, before I even locked in and purchased the LS motor and the trans that I found, I really wanted to put a big block in this thing. Just 454, stuff it in, big nasty carburetor, and just call it good. There's no displacement for displacement, they say, or no replacement for displacement, they say, right? And I don't know. An old friend of mine actually sent me the link to this engine and trans, because I was, like I said, I was initially looking for big blocks, but you know, you can't really find those these days for a budget price, unless you want like a clapped out one that was pulled out of like a rusty ass motorhome. You know, you can find those typically pretty cheap, but one that's like drop-in ready and good to go, you expect to spend, you know, upwards of $3 to whatever grand on it, you know. So anyway, a friend of mine found the engine and trans that's in this truck right now for $650. I just had to drive about an hour and a half to get it, but it came with the harness, came with the trans, came with the computer, pretty much everything I needed other than a couple little odds and ends like the oxygen sensors, mass airflow sensor. Some of the engine harness was like butchered off during the removal when they were yanking out of the engine, but they're yanking it out of the donor truck that it came from. But other than that, I haven't really added it up in a little bit. I've been jotting it down just on a notepad as I've been acquiring little pieces and parts and as I go along. And last time I added it up, before I did the exhaust, before I had the exhaust done, which I probably could have saved a decent amount of money and did the exhaust myself, but I just wanted to get this thing on the road and done. And I took it to an exhaust shop, and they did a really good job. Made me a nice set of duals, a couple of nice sounding mufflers. They're not Flowmasters or anything like that. They're just some cheapos, but it's got a nice little rumble to it, and it's not obnoxiously loud. But anyway, subtracting the cost from having the exhaust on, last time I added it up, I had less than $1,000 into this swap, and that is including the price of the engine and trans that I purchased for $650. So, pieces I had to scour and acquire, like I said, fan shroud, radiator, oxygen sensors, you know, radiator hoses, power steering line, and just fluids for the transmission. Like I said, I'll do another video and I'll add it all up and I'll break it all down for you guys. But like I said, before I did the exhaust, last time I remember adding it up, it was less than $1,000. So I'd say we're doing all right so far. I couldn't even have put a small block in this thing for less than $1,000. So anyway, I'm gonna pull into this gas station here, throw some Freshie in it, then we'll get back on the road. And then we'll go play around on the Woodward Dream Cruise with some of these hot rods. All right, see ya. All right, y'all, just had to make a quick pit stop at the local O'Reilly's to get me some new bulbs, because as you can see here, I got an amber one here and then I got a clear one here, and my OCD just will not allow that, so I had to get it right. So I had to stop in here, get a couple bulbs, we'll be good to go. A lot of nice cars out today, man. We're gonna see some cool stuff down here for sure. Like I said, tonight's not even the night of the cruise. The cruise is actually tomorrow night. I'm more or less just coming down here to, you know, see a little bit of action, test driving the truck. Truck's going down the road just fine. And this thing, another thing I'd like to point out compared to my C10, this thing is getting killer gas mileage. Like my C10, 20 bucks would not get me very far. I can tell you that much. Anyway, back on the road. So far, I put 84 miles on this truck since I've completed the swap and got it running. And it's just, like I said, it's been a treat. If I had the ability to tune it a little more, the only thing that I would really adjust is probably when the overdrive kicks in. I would probably bump, if you can adjust that, I'm sure you can adjust that. I would adjust it to the overdrive wouldn't kick in until, I don't know, maybe 55 or something, because I think it goes in a little too early for my liking. But then again, it could be the fact that my speedometer it works. However, it is not entirely accurate. I'd say it says I'm doing 65 right now. I would say it's probably 10 miles an hour over the limit. Anyhow, what am I even talking about? Like I say, yeah, we're just out here mobbing, and this thing's riding great. Driving good, everything's working, other than, like I said, the tach's a little off, speedometer's a little off, but all that stuff can be adjusted. I just made another discovery. The cruise control works. How cool is that? Now, it didn't just work by default. The only thing I had to do is I had to switch the cables. I had to take the OBS cruise control cable out of the cruise control module because it was just a hair too short. And luckily, like I said, included with my engine and transmission came the cruise control module. So I kind of scored in that aspect as well, you know. But yeah, it was just as simple as changing the cable over, and I didn't have to really do anything. So that's freaking awesome. Freaking hot rod truck with cruise control that works. This is rad. All right, so we're about to get into this mad traffic jam, and like I said, it is Friday night. It's not even the day of the cruise, and it's already packed down here. Granted, you got your normal civilian traffic, spectator traffic, then you got, you know, your mix of old school cool shit like Jeeps and old G bodies over there, and, you know, old Tri-5 Chevys, and, you know, all kinds of neat stuff. So let's go cruising this stuff for a little bit and post up, and I'll get back. All right, y'all, so this is what it's like Friday night. Like I said, not even the day of the cruise, and people are out here just packed, lining the streets. The southbound lane is barely even moving. I actually jumped over to Telegraph Road and decided to come down this way just because, you know, just sitting in traffic was just getting so boring. So sometimes you gotta know the avenue and kind of jump around and whatnot. Hey, that's the guy from the gas station. Anyways, I'm gonna post up and find somewhere to park, and hopefully we can find somewhere to park. All right, so I just posted up, and as of right now, we've got 98.8 miles on the swap, and so far, it's been awesome. So I just wanted to point that out. I can't, you know, I'm gonna celebrate when we break 100. I'm gonna be excited when that happens. So, anyways, I'm gonna pop out, maybe run over to that Coney, get something to eat, look at some of these nice cars, and I'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. All right, y'all, sun is going down. Shack ribs and Jed's Pizza. And I'm just posted up watching the cars roll by. I like coming out here at nighttime, A, because my black truck looks terrible in the sun, but she looks pretty mint at nighttime. At nighttime is when people are out here doing shit like this, so I like to come out here during the evening. So yeah, anyways, my goal last year that I set forth was to have this truck down on the Dream Cruise, and luckily we were able to make that happen. So not only were we able to make that happen, it's actually been running and driving really good. I couldn't ask for any more. So anyone that has been watching and following along, you know, I appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully it helped you out with maybe your swap or something. But I'm sorry, I'm just running out of things to say, but I'm just stoked, you know. Very few things in life that I get excited about. Finished projects is definitely one of them. So, and I'm not even going to say that this project is necessarily finished. Like I said, it is only running and driving at this point. We can go any way with it. We can go up or down with it, turbo it, supercharge it. You never know. Or I could just sell it and start another one. Anyway, I'll let you guys go and I'll catch you in the next. Alright, so one thing I want to just kind of point out is that, like, this newer, younger generation, and I'm not trying to sound like a boomer or whatever, but these young cats, man, they just don't know how to cruise, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's all trying to race car, or should I say rice car, around and just speeding and packing in like sardines and not leaving space and not letting other people turn, and it's just, I don't know, this younger crowd, man, they don't seem to get it. But anyhow, end of rant. Oh, then they got the crackly poppy exhaust too. I don't know what the deal is with that, but it just, I don't know, it's ridiculous. But all right, end of rant. All right, y'all, so I've been in this traffic jam for about an hour, right? This thing ain't overheating or doing anything. Like, it's just rolling. So we're good. I'd say we're good. Y'all, so we just got home. It's about 1:30 in the morning, and total round trip today, I would say, well, let's look at our tripometer. And when I pulled out of the driveway this morning, I remember the trip said 48 miles. Right now it says 167. So doing a little bit of math, I'd say that we put about 120 miles on this thing this afternoon and this evening. And like I said, she just did great the entire time, and she's just been a treat to drive. Really good gas mileage, cruising along 60 miles an hour, 70 mile an hour. It just purrs right along. And like I said, when you you know, give it a little bit of oomph off the green light, you know, it'll surprise you a little bit for what it is. Like I said, it's just a clapped out old 5.3 that I stuffed in this truck. But you know, the cool thing about these short beds is the back ends of them are so light, because those bed sides are fiberglass. So basically it's just got like a little metal tub with some fiberglass, almost like a stadium truck kind of deal. But 120 miles on it today and not a single hiccup. So like I said, I get it now. And now that, you know, we know how to do an LS swap, you know, we can pretty much apply everything we learned with this truck to our next project, which could be anything. It could be like an even older Chevy truck, or you know, an old like 50s Chevy, or an old you know, an old Buick, or just any old thing, you know what I mean? So sky's the limit. So like I said, she did all right tonight. And tomorrow I'm probably gonna head down to the cruise a little bit earlier just so I can find a good spot to post up. And I'm probably gonna be just more or less just gonna park this thing tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be insane as far as like traffic jam goes. But that's why I like to take like a bike or something down there. But anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. And like I said, thanks for watching. This was the you know, this wasn't the first like test drive, you know what I mean? Yeah, because up until this point, I've only pretty much driven the truck locally, just little 5 mile, 10 mile trips around town, just short drives. But tonight was our first, you know, I guess we could call it a long drive, you know, being 120 miles round trip, you know, 60 miles each way, and not a single, you know, burp. You know, that's very relieving, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I've never done an engine swap, so when you're just driving further and further away from home, you start to kind of get out of your comfort zone, and you know, things could happen. But luckily nothing happened, and like I said, she did great. I didn't have a single hiccup, which is, you know, I don't know, it's kind of strange to be honest with you. But either I just did everything right, or I got lucky, or something catastrophic is bound to happen in the near future. So hopefully it's not the latter. Hopefully it's the first thing and I just did everything right. So anyway, I'm gonna quit my yapping and go inside and call it a night. So anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next. Thanks for watching.